Hi everyone. This week I would like to talk to you about how to stop procrastination and also overcome our resistance for change. So I've been thinking about this topic quite a bit, and I think, many of you will have the experience about procrastinating something. And to be honest, if you say, "Oh, I've never done it," I don't believe you, and it's not normal. So, and I think this is a topic that really it's applicable to all of us, because whether you're writing a book or you want to set up your business or your nonprofit, or you want to say find a new job or changing some of your lifestyle habits, making exercise like 4 times a week instead of like every now and then, or just certain things that you know it's good for you and you've been meant to do it for ages, but it just somehow didn't kick in. Or you have started doing something, but you never followed through or finished it. And this is called procrastination. And let's face it, we all have it. And it's just so familiar with all of us. And so I want to share why I think that happens and how do we stop it. What could be some really simple strategy to help us get through and I would say overcoming that. In fact, I think often it's about challenging ourselves to overcome that resistance to change or to create or to just finish what we have started. And so I thought, that could be a little video that I can share with you this week. Now, so first of all, I find that, there are two scenarios when we start cracking if we overcome our resistance to change or stop procrastinating. So first scenario is that you quickly realize that what you say you wanted to do is not the thing for you. So whether it may be, let's just say, writing the book that you have been talking about for ages, you may find, first of all, maybe you don't want to be a writer, or you don't want to publish this, or you actually think there's other way to express yourself or your story or your knowledge that may be better than writing that book. Or you will decide that I need to fine tune it. So instead of writing this as a fiction, maybe I'll do it as a nonfiction. Or, this is just a random example. But you know what is not for you. So you may refine it or drop it altogether, which is really like, to be honest, when you're procrastinating something and you know you need to do it, it's like this heavy weight on your shoulder. And at the back of your head, you always remember there's this thing you need to do, you're supposed to do whatever, but you haven't tackled it. So it's never feeling good. It drains your energy, and it stops you from really moving forward and going further, because there's this thing. Um, and I would say, first of all, first scenario is that you will know what is not for you. So now, if it is still something for you, what happens is that when you stop procrastinating, meaning you get cracking, right? So you will realize that even taking small steps, somehow after even a few days, you start to see momentum, or you feel better about it. You will be more easy to bring yourself to take more action the following day, and then momentum start together, and then before you know it, you're done. The same is like cleaning up the house. Sometimes you just don't want to do it, okay, that's me, right? But once I start cracking, I do a whole lot, and it doesn't take that long actually, and I would do more than expected. And often that's the case for everyone. When you start cracking, actually you will accomplish more than you think you could, as long as and as soon as you bring yourself to it. So now we know, as soon as you stop procrastinating, then things can really move on, or you figure out that's not for you. So that's great too. So how do we actually get to that point? So that's really good. Thanks, Coach Sewing. I know that. So first of all, I think intellectually we all know this, but how to actually stop it is a very different matter. So what I want to talk to you about, it's about really looking at what resistance is and what it isn't. So for example, resistance is not something you can really reason with, because it's not something that you can put a legitimate reason behind it. So therefore, like, look, there's a difference between resistance and you really actually can't do it. Like, okay, so you know what I'm talking about. But when you realize this is part of you resisting the change or to complete something, then you really need to look at it as in, first of all, this is not something you can reason with. It's like a shadow. And it happens like in nature. naturally, if you stand there under the sun, you will have shadow. It follows you. So, but it should not lead you. So, meaning that when you recognize the resistance, I'm, affected by my resistance, but it should not determine what I would do next. In fact, I need to lead it instead of it follows me, but I need to lead it rather than the other way around. So, and sometimes you need to remember it's not just you, everybody experiences it. So don't start to say to yourself in your head, and it happens to you, that okay, so I can't do this, I'm not good enough, I'm not like so and so who has it all together, and maybe I'm just not meant to do this, or maybe I don't deserve this to happen, and I would never manage to amount to this or anything. You can talk yourself into the downward spiral when you start saying those things, that you are not worthy, you could never finish anything, whatever. You know what I'm talking about too. So no, 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 no. You really need to tell yourself that it's not true. It's just my mind. It's just a thought. When you have a thought, it doesn't mean it's real, and it's not doesn't mean it's true. And Henry Ford said famously that whether you think you can or you can't, you're both right. So, what's your thought? And now let's just say, okay, you overcome it. You know that, you don't have that sort of crazy downward spiral in terms of thinking, and talk yourself out of it, and out of doing it and into not doing it. Now, you need to remember, resistance is like our ego mind. It comes because it is fueled by fear, and they're often illusions. That the reasons you think that will stopping you from succeeding, it's often not true. What happened is that we're hijacked by our fear. What if I really made it? What if I really wrote a book but nobody wants to read it? Or what if I really have done this really, really big thing? Then what else I need to do? What is next? Or what do you think people think about this? Or what would people think about it if I do it well or not doing well? Or would I be judged? Actually, there's a lot of those thoughts at the back end, and sometimes we're aware of it, sometimes we're not. But needless to say, if we're not moving forward, something is happening. Now, I want to show you 3 simple strategies that may actually help you move forward with this. So, last thing I wanted to mention is about when you are resisting something for a period of time, it actually clouds your judgment. You cannot see, that your breakthrough is actually around the corner, or if it is something you want to do for a long time but you didn't know how. Actually, the solution is right there in front of you, but your own resistance may block you from seeing it. Personally, the same thing, that I had this sort of inclination that I want to try Latin dancing many, many years ago. It's actually down the street where I used to live. But every time I pass the sign, I would say, oh, I would do it. But I never brought myself into it, and I don't know why. And, I think it's because I somehow knew I have a bit of addict personality. So if I like something, I do it a lot. Like, it would take over my life in a way. I'm a little bit dramatic, but you get the gist that, I was resisting to go in because I know it may turn out, or may not be, so it may not be for me. It may turn out something that I will invest a lot of my time and energy, and I don't know whether I want to do it, but I haven't even tested the water. I just have all this dialogue in my head. So lo and behold, after about a year of saying to myself, I need to go in and check it out, I finally checked it out, and you know what? I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. So I started dancing in this Latin dance place. And then suddenly, before I know it, I met a group of great friends and started doing things I really enjoy and like. And I felt great. And guess what? Next thing I know, I met my husband. So I don't know. Maybe I wasn't ready. I can retrospectively put a lot of reasons into it. But I really think that was my resistance not to go in, not to start something. And sometimes can be really silly. Now, going back to the strategy, sorry, sometimes I backtrack. First of all, you really need to know your why and watch out for the shoot. Because as I said, sometimes we tell ourselves we need to do certain things, but once we start doing it, which means that, when you think about the why, it actually comes together when you start taking some action, then you need to start see how it unfolds, and often actually show up to really, for you to really understand the why behind it. And if it is not something you truly want to do, when you have a heart-to-heart conversation with yourself, you really then understand why you want to do or be or get or change this particular thing you want to do. And it clarifies what you need to do and why you need to do it. and it reignite your inspiration, supercharge your motivation. So it's really important steps. If you stuck somewhere and you don't know why you are resisting it, first of all, ask yourself why you want to do this in the first place. What is your intention? Is it aligned with your values? Is it aligned with where you are in your life? So sometimes we set something like a goal, whatever, that maybe at a time where we could actually do it and it was suitable, but then when we're actually gone around to do it, it's not the right time. So we need to be honest with ourselves, and sometimes we can give ourselves permission to park something or delete or cancel something. And as soon as you give yourself permission, that weight on your shoulder will go. So, and also watch out when you feel really exhausted and overwhelmed just by thinking about doing this thing you meant to do, then really ask yourself what really matters. What is the single thing? If I only have X amount of time and X amount of energy, I really need to prioritize, and there's so many things I need to do, and this is on my to-do list for ages, but I haven't moved it at all. Then what is the why, and what really matters to me most? Right? Everything else you may just want to cross it or park it for later, but that's different than procrastinating, because you are at least moving along, doing something else that is more important, or you set a time to do this thing. So that actually helps you to move forward too. Second strategy is what I call find your path of least resistance. So let's say you have a big vision. You want to start a school, a nonprofit to help a million of people in poverty. This is a huge thing. It often feels so overwhelming. And what it is that when we get excited about something, we want to do a lot very quickly. We want to see results. We want to know whether it's going to happen. And, we don't practice patience enough. So what I found is useful when something is so big, you must break it down into smaller steps and maybe milestones or little small wins so that you get a momentum, but you're also testing out your idea, because when you start doing something, it may tell you like scenario one is actually not for you, or maybe you need to fine tune it. Like instead of setting up a school, maybe you want to work with a brand of organizations that actually do the same thing. Maybe you want to support those organizations, whatever it is. But you start taking smaller steps, and don't give yourself the pressure that you need to get to X. And sometimes you set yourself a smaller goal, but you have the vision. But it's very different than declaring yourself that's your end goal. You start with the end in mind, but you need to set up smaller smaller wins so that you can keep yourself honest and moving. If you don't move along this path, you will never get to the mountaintop. So that's the key. So find your path of least resistance. So maybe you don't like writing advertising or marketing email or whatever that helps you to build that school, like say get donation or get relationship. But maybe you really enjoy looking the educational aspect, what can really help to bring people that they need for that type of school, like whatever it is that you find yourself easier to get into it. So again, find your path of least resistance. So for example, for me, the dream of writing my first book, Goddess with Many Faces, actually you can just see it right there. Took a while, and in between I got pregnant and my first baby, and that takes a lot of energy and time. So, and I know this is something I want to do, so I'm clear with my why. I know I need to take small steps, even though they're tiny. So I started this habit of writing just 30 minutes in the morning or in the afternoon, wherever I find time. So it's only 30 minutes I could afford, but it's those 30 minutes at the end got me through the book. So don't fantasize that I'm going to have this weekend all cleared, of the housework done, everybody's doing their thing, then I have all afternoon, I have my herbal tea and my meditation music, I'm going to write my book. Usually, my honey, that's not going to happen. So you need to be prepared. If you really want to do something, your little 30 minutes, your little 45 minutes, or your 50 minutes of preparation, say doing outline, putting notes together, or start typing even one paragraph, one sentence. That little small bits and pieces get you there. And that becomes your part of least resistance, because if you tell yourself, I can just do 15 minutes, I'm still doing it, and that is okay, it's going to count, then it's not so hard to pick up the pen or start typing, is it? But if you have to find opportunity to get 2 hours, 4 hours block to do your thing, chances are you will never get around to it. So writing just an example, but there will be so many other things. And I can tell you, I have many different creative projects, and they all build from the 30 minutes intervals, not rather than I got the whole day by myself. It rarely happens. When it does, it's great, but to be honest, chances are it's those 30 minutes, 1 hour blocks that really got us to the places. So third, I want to tell you, third very, very important strategy is that don't think you can do it all by yourself. It is actually not true. What I mean is that it's not you necessarily get someone else to write with you, but that's just an example again with writing, because it's the easy example I can think about. But I'm saying sometimes you need to tell people what you're up to. So maybe you need to tell your family that, honey, I can't go out to do this today. I can't do all the housework in one go because I need to set aside some time to do this. Can you help me with X, Y, and Z? Or you tell your children to do your bit to help mommy because mommy need to do this very important thing. Or you tell your colleagues, whatever that is, that you need to tell people that you need the time and you may not be do the usual thing. Or tell your friends, I can't come out to picnic this weekend because I really want to finish it. Or, look, probably for the next 3 months, I can't do Friday night drinks because I need to do this. And I want you to be on my team and cheer me up when I feel down, or tell me to go home when you see me lingering instead of going home to do my work. I want your support. I want you to keep me accountable. Like things like that. You can easily share with people. And they will become also a support network, because you can't do it all by yourself. You have to tell people to help you in that sort of way. Or you may actually need to hire someone to be your virtual assistant, or another way, maybe you would need to hire a coach or mentor because you don't know the house and the ropes to how to get to where you want to go. So that's sort of getting help and support from others. But I think most importantly, is to tell people around you that you may not be available. So you don't feel bad that you are not being there for your kids all the time, but you already said that, I was spending my quality time with you when I can, but I need to also reserve this period of time so that mommy can do the work that really means a lot to me. So that's really important. Set the expectation, the boundary, and be flexible about, how much time and when that can happen. But when you say it, when you tell people respect that. Sometimes we don't give people the credit that they will understand. And sometimes, maybe they will have some pushback. But the fact that if you share with them this is important, and I'm just not going to clean the floor or do vacuuming until I get this done, even if they don't say yay, you're still honoring yourself. And that's so important. And that comes with practice, because if you can't do a little of these, it's very hard to build on to say the bigger things that, look, I'm going to stop doing this from now on. Let's say you make a huge change, relocation, or quitting a job, or something bigger than just say, I'm not available Saturday afternoon. You need to build the courage and build a boundary and build the know-how to handle the people around you when you want to change their expectation. And it's probably easier to ask them to give you time on a Saturday afternoon than saying, I'm going to do this huge thing. So sometimes, again, you build from small blocks. So that's also a way to build the respect, the trust, the relationship, the boundary with yourself. So this topic leads to so many bigger things than you imagine. And to be honest, often the thing we procrastinate the most, and the thing we know we need to go get it done, we cannot let go because the why is really clear and important. That's the things that will really empower us when we get it done, or as long as we get started. So I urge you to think about in your life what you're procrastinating, what is the biggest part of resistance, and think about it and look at the 3 strategy and pick and choose or do it all, but start somewhere, because I guarantee you, as soon as you start tackling it, you will get to the next place, the next step, and going further. So often when we are not doing anything, inaction breed confusion, and you also, you lose confidence and you lose your clarity. So action brings you all that. So no matter how small, start somewhere. And once again, everybody has his problem, not just you. And I hope that will help you to change your mind a little bit and start thinking, what can I do to really get me to where I want to go, and how to stop my procrastination and overcome the resistance to change, to create, or finish what you have started. And you deserve it. So get on with it. And I hope you find this useful. And if you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel so I will continuously make these inspirational, informative videos. Or you can listen to this on podcasts. You can listen to it on iTunes and most of the iPod catchers. And you can read my blog on sewingvito.com. And don't forget to join my mailing list, because you will get a teaser of this, but also you will get all the inside news and exciting things that's coming along. So lovely to talk to you, and I hope you find this useful. I see you next time.